The command deck of the Imperial warship Vermilion Dawn fell silent as the human prisoner was dragged before Commander Taliesis. She sat upon her elevated throne, her crystalline skin reflecting the cold blue light of the bridge displays. The human stumbled forward, bound in energy restraints, his face hidden beneath a tattered brown cloak that seemed far too ordinary for someone who had single-handedly disabled 3 of her patrol ships. Taliesis leaned forward, her 4 eyes narrowing. "You destroyed my vessels. You killed 17 of my warriors. Yet here you stand, wrapped in rags like a common beggar." Her voice carried the harmonic resonance of her species, the Valteri, a sound that could shatter glass when anger took hold. "What are you hiding, human? Who are you? Take off the cloak, now." The human remained still, his breathing steady despite the energy bonds that crackled around his wrists and ankles. The bridge crew watched in anticipation. They had heard stories of humans, those strange mammals from the outer spirals who had appeared in galactic space only 3 cycles ago, a species that should have been nothing more than primitive explorers. Yet somehow they had carved out their own territory and defended it with unexpected ferocity. "I asked you a question, primate," Taliesis hissed, rising from her throne. She descended the steps with predatory grace, her 7-foot frame towering over the cloaked figure. "Remove it, or I will have it torn from you along with your flesh." The human's hands moved slowly, deliberately, despite the restraints. His fingers grasped the edge of the cloak's hood. The bridge crew leaned forward. Taliesis felt her pulse quicken in anticipation, though she would never admit to such weakness. The hood fell back. Talis's gasped. Her legs trembled. The confident stance she had maintained for 20 years of military service evaporated in an instant. Her knees buckled, and she collapsed to the deck floor, her crystalline hands barely catching her fall. The human before her was not what she had expected, not even close. His face bore scars that crisscrossed his features in patterns that she recognized immediately. They were ritual markings, but not of any human culture she had studied. They were Valteri symbols, ancient Valteri symbols, the kind that had been forbidden for over 3,000 years. From the time before her people had reached for the stars. From the dark age they had worked desperately to forget, but it was his eyes that truly broke her. They glowed with a soft amber light, the same bioluminescence that marked the old warrior caste of her species, the caste that had been exterminated in the Great Purge, when her ancestors decided that peace was worth more than the honor of combat. Every child, every carrier of the warrior genes, had been systematically eliminated to ensure that the Valteri would never again fall into the cycle of eternal war that had nearly destroyed their civilization. "Impossible," Taliesis whispered, her voice cracking. "You cannot be. They are all dead. We made certain. We had to." The human spoke for the first time, and his voice carried that same harmonic resonance that only the Valteri possessed. "You thought you killed them all. You were wrong." Around the bridge, consoles flickered. The crew members nearest to the human backed away, their training forgotten in the face of something that defied every historical record they had been taught. Taliesis forced herself to her feet, though her legs still shook. "Explain yourself. You are human. I can smell your biology. You breathe oxygen. Your heart beats in single rhythm. You cannot be what those markings claim." The human tilted his head, and the motion was eerily familiar. It was the gesture of assessment that ancient Valteri warriors used before deciding whether an opponent was worthy of honorable combat or quick execution. "Your people fled. Not all of them. When the purge came, some of the warrior caste escaped. They found a small planet far from your expanding empire. They built a life. They had children. And those children had children." He took a step forward despite the restraints. The energy bonds should have tightened, should have brought him to his knees in agony, but they seemed to have no effect. But your people found them eventually. 50 years ago, a Volteri science vessel discovered the colony. They reported it. They called for its destruction. And your fleet came. Talis felt ice in her veins. She knew this story. Every commander knew this story. The incident at Kelver Prime, an unauthorized colony that had been purged according to ancient law. No survivors. No evidence left behind. The entire affair had been classified at the highest levels, erased from public record. Only the military elite knew the truth. They did not all die, the human continued. His hands moved, and the energy restraints simply fell away, clattering to the deck. No one moved to stop him. No one could. Some children survived. They were found by human explorers 3 days after your fleet left, orphaned, traumatized, dying. He reached up and pulled the cloak fully from his shoulders. Beneath it, he wore armor that made several of the bridge crew cry out in recognition. It was Volteri battle dress, but modified, enhanced with human technology that should not have been compatible with their ancient designs. The humans who found us did not know what we were. They only knew that we were children who needed help. They took us in. They raised us as their own. They taught us their ways while we remembered ours. And when we grew strong enough, when we learned enough, we began to search for the truth of what had happened to our parents. Talis wanted to order her guards to fire. She wanted to call for reinforcements. She wanted to do anything except stand there and listen to this, impossible being tear apart the foundations of everything her civilization had built. But she could not move. The weight of history, of guilt, of crimes that she had not committed but had benefited from, held her frozen. "You attacked our ships because we entered human territory," she said, her voice barely a whisper. "You defended them. They are my people now," the human replied. "Just as the warriors were yours, once, before you decided that peace was more valuable than their lives. Before you decided that an entire genetic lineage should be erased because you feared what they represented." He moved closer, and Talis realized with horror that every instinct she had, every reaction she felt, recognized him as a superior officer, as a warrior caste commander. Her body wanted to kneel, to submit, to acknowledge the hierarchy that her civilization had spent millennia trying to forget. "We are the last of them," the human said softly. 7 survivors, raised among humans, taught to be something new. Not Volteri, not human, something between. Something that your people tried to destroy and my adoptive people tried to save. He looked around the bridge, his glowing eyes meeting each crew member in turn. "We do not seek revenge. We seek only to ensure that what happened to our parents never happens again. To anyone, to any species." Talis found her voice, though it trembled. "What do you want from us? From me?" The human smiled, and it was a sad expression, full of old pain and older wisdom. "I want you to remember. I want your people to stop pretending that the purge was a necessary evil, an unfortunate moment in history that led to your golden age of peace. I want you to acknowledge that you built your civilization on the graves of children whose only crime was being born with the wrong genes." He turned toward the view screen, where the stars stretched out in infinite darkness. "And I want you to leave human space alone, because if you do not, you will face not just humans defending their homes. You will face the ghosts of your own past, armed with the technology of the future, and the fury of those who have nothing left to lose." Talis stood in silence as the human walked toward the airlock. Her guards did not stop him. They could not. The weight of what they had just learned, what they had just seen, paralyzed them all. "Wait," Talis called out. The human paused. "What is your name? What do you call yourself?" He looked back over his shoulder, and for a moment, Talis saw the child he must have been, terrified and alone in the ruins of his home. Then the moment passed, and the warrior returned. "They called me James," he said, "the humans who saved me. But among my siblings, those who survived with me, I am known by the name my mother gave me before she died." He spoke a word in ancient Valteri, a name from the Forbidden's histories. "I am remembrance. I am the living proof of what you tried to forget. And I will ensure that the galaxy never forgets what you did." Then he was gone, vanishing into the airlock with a grace that no human should possess. The Vermilion Dawn sensors tracked his departure as a small shuttle detached from their hull, a vessel that had somehow attached itself without triggering any alarms. It accelerated away at speeds that their technology could not match, disappearing into the darkness between stars. Commander Talis slowly walked back to her throne and sat down heavily. Around her, the bridge crew waited for orders, for guidance, for anything that might help them process what they had just witnessed. She touched the communication panel. "This incident is classified at the highest level. No one speaks of what happened here. No one." She paused, her hands shaking. "And send a priority message to the High Council. Tell them that the past has returned. Tell them that the purge was not as complete as we believed. Tell them that we have a choice to make." In the silence that followed, Talis wondered if her people would choose wisdom over pride, truth over comfortable lies. She doubted it. They had spent 3,000 years building a civileza.